I am going to get canceled eventually. The day is going to come when the woke mob attacks me for something that I have said. And when the woke mob comes, what are we going to do? All right, that's the reason why I'm making this video. All right, I'm making this video for the men out there that have seen what has gone down with the Joey Swoll situation in the fitness industry, and most recently the Sydney Sweeney situation with the American Eagle Jeans Company. All right, both of these situations, I'll give a little bit of context as to what happened. If you're like, Brandon, I have no idea what happened here, just to give you a little bit of background. So with the Joey Swoll situation, he's a very popular fitness influencer who calls out bullies or people who act poorly in the gym and tells them they need to do better. All right, he kind of sits there and acts as a judge for what is and isn't right in gym culture. And overall, he's trying to make sure that we have a super positive gym community that's constantly bringing each other up without ever putting anybody down. All right, that is who Joey Swoll was. And he was always elevated by people because they said, oh, he's this man who's defending the weak. You know, he's standing up to these bullies. And he developed this really bulletproof reputation despite some previous scandals that he's had in the past that completely overshadowed, things that he might have done in the past that show that maybe he wasn't such a good guy. But at the same time, he developed this new reputation. He developed this new identity. And all it took for everything to come crumbling to the ground, he posted a video of him working out dressed as Hulk Hogan, who is a famous wrestler who had recently died. And people attacked him. They said, how dare you dress up like Hulk Hogan? Don't you know what kind of person Hulk Hogan was? Apparently, Hulk Hogan was not the best guy. Hulk Hogan was accused of being racist and even sexist. People attacked him ruthlessly and said, how dare you honor the memory of a man who did bad things during his life? How ridiculous is that? In the Sydney Sweeney ad, for example, American Eagle, they did an ad where Sydney Sweeney walks onto the screen and she says, I have great genes. And people look at her and they say, oh, she has blonde hair, she has blue eyes, she's being racist. Even though she's wearing jeans, it's a jean ad. And they said, Sydney Sweeney is being racist because she's saying that she has good genes and she has blonde hair and blue eyes. How ridiculous is that? Both of these situations go to show just how ridiculous the woke mob is. And this is so important for every single man to understand because, like I talk about in other videos, you need to be a guardian of your values. You can't just be a gardener that tends to your tree, that prunes it, that cuts off the branches that don't bear fruit. You literally have to go to war for your values. You have to defend them actively. You should grow in all of the fruits of your values, but a day will also come when you will be forced to defend them, to use violence to defend them. So what I really want to encourage you to do as a young man is to practice confrontation, all right? What you need to understand is that as a man, you are called to be courageous, you are called to be steadfast, and in today's society, we don't experience a ton of physical violence on a day-to-day basis. We live in a very peaceful society. You don't see it very often where the physically strong are preying on the weak. In fact, the most common thing that we run into is hostility through social media. And this is ultimately a control tactic that is used by the physically weak to control people, all right? People that cannot control others because they're scared and because they're weak, they seek to control people through words, through manners, and through mob mentality. They say, oh, you have to say these specific words. In the Joey Swoll situation, when he was trying to defend himself on why he had dressed up like Hulk Hogan, he accidentally used the words colored people instead of people of color. Once again, people jumped on him and they said, Joey Swoll, you are a racist. You are a terrible person. How do you not know that those words are not the words that you're supposed to use? And they attacked him viciously through mob mentality, through the words that people use, through the manners of the society. These people will try to control you. So please, I beg of you, practice confrontation as a man. I had a situation like this just the other day. A man walked up to me in the middle of the gym while I was getting my workout in, and he said, hey dude, can you stop grunting while you're working out? He said, at this gym, we actually try to keep the volume low. And I could have looked at him and I could have said, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to disturb you. I didn't know that we try to keep the volume low at this gym. No. Instead, I looked him dead in the eyes and I said, sir, I've been going to this gym for 11 years now. I've never had a problem. I'm just trying to get a good workout in here. And yeah, I make a little bit of noise while I'm doing it and training to failure. End of conversation. End of conversation. I don't need to sit there and justify myself. I don't need to sit there and apologize. I just simply say, no, what you're saying is wrong. People don't have a problem with me grunting at the gym. You have a problem with me grunting at the gym. And there's no rule that says that I have to make you feel more comfortable when you are training at this gym. I'm going to continue hitting my workout. Practicing confrontation. Because people try to use these words and the manners and the mom mentality to control you. It's manipulative. People like to bully others into niceness. They try to get you to submit. I want you guys to think back to lockdowns, back to when COVID was sweeping over the entire world. People said things like, how dare you want to go to your church and worship with people? You need to be social distancing. Other people are going to die because you want to worship your God. People are going to say, how dare you not wear a mask in the grocery store? How dare you don't do this? It is affecting other people. With mannerisms and with words and with mob mentality, these people will try to control you. You need to understand as a man just how strong social conditioning is so that you can learn to push back on it. So that you can learn to stand firm when the wave crashes over you. There's an experiment that people ran where basically what they had was a doctor's office waiting room with a bunch of people in it, and whenever they would hit a buzzer, it would make a ringing noise inside the room, and everybody in the room would stand up except for one person that wasn't notified what was going on in the experiment. And that person quickly fell in line. They would start standing up every single time the bell rang, even though it made no sense. Even though they didn't know why they were doing it, they just saw that everybody else was doing it, and so they decided to do it. And when you're too timid to ask why, you just end up falling in line. People don't want you to question the system. And often it's the fear of asking, why the fuck are we doing this, that leads so many people down a path to do things that are not in line with their values, that are not in line with their principles, because they don't have the balls to stand up and say, what the fuck are we doing? Colored people? People of color? Who gives a fuck? What are we talking about here? So when your values and your principles are set in stone, it doesn't matter how people feel. It doesn't matter the words that you say because you don't care. You shouldn't care. You just operate based off of your values and your principles. And if somebody has a problem with that, it's fine. You essentially become uncancelable. Those people can say whatever they want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you are going to live by a code, all right? I've used Desmond Doss, who's the main character in Hacksaw Ridge, as an example in a couple of my other videos, but I'll use him again. He was a conscientious objector, and he refused to carry a weapon. And I don't even agree with Desmond Doss. Like, if I were to go to war, I would have no problem carrying a weapon. I would have no problem killing another man on a battlefield. But he was a conscientious objector. He had those values. He had those principles. And I can seriously respect him for having those. And he was able to help out in other ways. He ended up saving hundreds of men. Stop trying to be loved by everyone. Stop being obsessed with trying to get everyone to love you, everyone to like you. You don't want to be a chameleon, guys. You don't want to blend in with the world. Trust me. In every single one of my videos, it seems like I'm saying this, but if you want to get average people results, do average people things. Fit in with them. Fall in line. Sit when they tell you to sit. Stand when they tell you to stand. Wear a mask when they tell you to wear a mask. Don't go to church when they tell you not to go to church. All of these things are ways that people that are weak and manipulative are trying to encroach on your values. They're trying to erode them away over time. You know, when a river runs, it can carve through mountains. It carves through rock. After years and years and years of just chipping away slowly, taking piece by piece, and it creates massive chasms. So stand firm in who you are, draw your lines in the sand, and make sure that when the woke mob does come, you are prepared to stand your ground. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like on it down below. Drop a singular thumbs up in the comment section if you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.